Okay, so we are now coming to the marketing environment, the last topic I'd like to discuss with you in relation to module 1 highlight, and all, which is also related to your assessments, assessment 1. Okay. Oh, by the way, this topic is also related to assessment 3. All right. So marketing environment. In the beginning of our discussion, we say that we understand that marketing is actually an exchange process where if this is the firm, we have customers, we are engaged in the exchange process with the customers. Okay, so that's what we just discussed before. Okay, now actually, if you think about it further, the exchange process, the model that we just discussed before may be oversimplified. Okay, so if you have the firm engaged with the customers in the exchange process, okay, and this is the exchange process. All right, we actually it may actually be oversimplified because aside from customers, we also need to look at the other aspects in here. Okay, so actually leads us to the marketing environment. Okay, now what there are two types of marketing environments that we need to discuss. The first one is the micro environment, okay, and the second one is macro environment. All right, the micro environment actually includes all variables, such as all actors, such as the company, the marketing organization itself, okay, the customers, the focal points in the value equation, in the value chain system in marketing, the competitors. Okay, the competitors try to persuade our customers as well to win them. Okay, the public. Okay, public is interesting because the public may not be our target market, may not be our customers, but they will affect the value that we create, communicate, and deliver. Okay, and I just moved that a bit down further. The next one that is also in the micro environment actors are our suppliers. Okay, so marketing organization, the customers, the competitors, the public, the suppliers, and the last one is marketing intermediaries or the middleman, okay, the marketing channel. Okay, so these are the 6 marketing actors that are engaged in the in what we call as the micro environment. Okay, so what does the micro environment do? Well, actually, it actually reflects all actors within the industry. Okay, so this is what we mean by micro environments. Micro environments, in other words, are basically all actors within the industry that affects the value that we create, communicate, and deliver. Okay, if you look at that, the value that everyone in the organization will affect the value that we create. Okay, the effectiveness of the marketing team, for instance, the effectiveness of the R&D team, the effectiveness of sales team, the effectiveness of production team affect our value. Okay, the customers. Okay, the customers also affect the value that we create. Okay, therefore we need to learn their trends, their needs, their preferences. Okay, the competitors, the same thing. We also need to understand what they offer. Okay, the public will affect the value that we offer. You may recall that some organizations such as Coke, for instance, try to clarify the public's voice in terms of the accusation of spreading sugar and diabetes to the world. Okay? The suppliers also affect our effectiveness in value creation. Okay? The suppliers in here provide us with the raw materials, packaging materials, and some businesses may also depend on them in terms of the labor or workforce. All right, these organizations outsource the workforce to the other organizations. Okay, so. As an organization, we also depend on the suppliers, whether the suppliers can fulfill their promise or not to us to deliver the raw material, packaging material, and also the other materials that we need from them, so we can keep our promise for the customers. Okay? And the marketing intermediaries or the resellers help us to distribute the product, promote the product, communicate the product. Okay, they help us in our value creation as well. Okay. So that's what we mean by micro environment and the factors, the actors engaged in micro environments. Okay, the next one is macro environments. Macro environments are basically the larger societal forces that affect everyone. Okay, affect everyone. Now, who is that everyone? Well, that everyone is actually these guys here. Actually, the everyone in here are all in here, right? So that's the everyone that we mean. Okay, all marketing actors are the everyone. Okay, everyone. Okay? The marketing organizations, in other words, marketing organizations, the customers, the competitors, public, suppliers, marketing intermediaries are affected by the larger societal forces, right? So what are the larger societal forces? Larger societal forces basically include the political and social factors, for instance, okay? The demographic factors, okay? The cultural factors, the cultural forces, okay? Now just move it down here, okay? The economic factor, okay? Natural factor and technological factor, okay? They are the larger societal forces that affect everybody, okay? So these guys, these 6 factors in here basically affect all everybody's effectiveness in value creation. Okay, so you need to look at each of them in more specific. Political forces are basically related to the legislation, the government actors. Okay, the social forces in here includes the societies and what the value that so the social trends basically. Demographic profile in here actually is about the any changes in the population, any changes in our demographic profile, and culture in here are basically related to the values that our society adopts. Economic factors actually are all factors that affect the customer's spending power and purchase pattern. Okay, and natural includes all natural factors. All right, and there are several issues about natural. Basically, the first one is the shortage of natural resources, and they are not replenishable. And the second issue is the pollution, because we may use up some natural resources that may in fact create pollution, and that these two leads to the public pressures for the political forces to publish new legislation that may be tighter for some industries. Okay, you may recall that a few years ago, the Labour government in Australia published the carbon tax, for instance, which was repelled by the next government. The technological issues in here, the technological forces in here are related to all advanced technologies in terms of production processes or reaching new customers, and so on and so forth. Right now, those factors can be summarized into what we call as PEST, or pestle, or steep, or step. They are the same thing. Step, or steep, or pestle. Okay, they are the same thing. Okay, political, economic, social, cultural, and technological. All right. So what I would like to recommend you to do is when it comes to analyzing macro environments, okay, like pests, forces, for instance, okay, a few things. First, please look at the impact. Okay. First of all, look at the changes. Okay. And the second one, which is probably more important, is the impact to the industry or business, business. Okay. Now, in terms of impact, there are two types of impact: positive only or negative only. All right. It can be both positive and negative. It can be neutral. All right. If you find the impact is neutral, then please relook that impact again, because it may not be relevant to your industry or your business. Okay. Now, the other thing in terms of impact, it may impact the consumption. Okay, the consumer's consumption, which is basically related to our revenue, the revenue of the industry. Okay, either it is increasing or decreasing. The second one is costs, increase or decrease, that leads to profits, decrease or increase. Right. So that's a type of impact. Okay. Now, I'd like to show you a bit of example here. Right. So this is the from Trade Economics, and if you look at that, this is the unemployment rates in Australia. Well, if you look at that, if you look at the graph, when you show the graph like this, for instance, you are actually showing the trend, and please discuss the trend on your assessments. Okay, if you look at 12 months ago, yes, there's a tendency it is decreasing, although in the recent few months it is increasing a little bit. Okay, assuming it is trending, the trend goes like this, decreasing. So we could expect that the consumers' purchase power would be improving. Okay, to improve. Why is that? Because we expect consumers to have jobs. Okay, since the unemployment rate goes down, so the purchase power will be improved. If the purchase power has a tendency to improve, what does it mean? Well, the volume of our industry may increase. Okay, the volume of our industry may increase. Okay, so that's an example, guys, in terms of using the economic analysis for your analysis. Okay. Now let's go back to our assessment again, and we discussed that we need to look at the impact of the environment. Okay, so here, if we revisit that environment again, market environment again. Okay, so you can have, I would recommend you to have a brief overview what the environment is all about. Okay, here you can also include the definitions. Okay, and please analyze one environmental factor only. If you, it can be from micro environment, it could be from macro environments. Either one is fine. Either one is fine. Okay. Oops, a bit of typo. Okay, environment. Okay. Let's say if you look at the economic environment here, you can look at graph like that. You can research trade economics and look at the impact to your organization. Okay, and explain how your organization would respond to it. Yeah, because we also need to show the impact to the organization and how they respond to it. Okay, what will they do in response to that to these changes? Okay, So if you look at the microenvironment, let's say look at the competitor, for instance, you analyze specifically who they are, what they do, okay, and what impact they will bring to your organization, the organization that you look at, okay. So there are a couple of examples I just gave, all right. Okay, so that's basically posting one. I just want to put it here, your original posting. Okay, posting one. Okay, original posting. Okay. Now, the next thing that I'd like to discuss is actually your second posting. Okay, your second posting, which is basically your feedback to your peer. Okay, 2 peers. Okay, so in total you write 250 words. All right. Well, a few things I'd like to highlight. First, make sure you give specific feedback. Okay, what is that? Use the words that your peers have written. Okay. Second, please make sure to cover both positive and constructive feedback. Okay. Third, please make sure you relate that to the theory or concept, the ones that we discussed above. Okay, the ones that we discussed in these in module 1. Okay. Now, in terms of giving feedback, there is a some experts suggest to use what they call a sandwich feedback. Okay. Sandwich feedback actually revolves around giving the positive feedback in the beginning, okay, constructive feedback, and then close it with the positive feedback again. Okay, the positive feedback in here actually, you know, we start with whatever good work, okay, that has been done by our friends. Okay, because look, there should be something good. Okay, so you explain it specifically. Okay, relate that back to the theory. Yeah, if that you did well in here, you have discussed the customers' needs, which is critical to the exchange process, yada yada. Right? So you explain it. Okay. Now this is the next one in the sandwich. We have the bun, we have the meat, and we have the bun again. Okay. Now this is the meat, which is basically the constructive feedback. Okay. So you explain to your friend. I would recommend you to do this. I understand that you did that, but I do recommend you to look at this as well. The concept suggests we need to do this, for instance, or you can also ask the facts in terms of critical thinking. Okay. Now the next one is positive again, which is basically the purpose in here is to encourage. I'm confident that you can do it. Okay, something like that. All right. So that's basically it. The other thing I'd like to comment is. Make sure that you reference, okay, not only the concepts but also the facts. Okay, reference for all concepts and the facts. Use good references, use credible references. Okay, and please also critically write your assessments. In here, you actually use the concepts, facts, and build on with your opinion. Okay, so in other words, your opinion should be based on facts that you research. All right, so that's basically the ones I'd like to discuss with you in terms of assessment 1 and also module 1 highlights. Okay, and again, assessment 1 is due next Monday, 9th of April. And the second posting is due on Sunday. Okay, right. Have a good one.